Example 2 is changing things up a little bit. We're asked to find the standard equation of the parabola with the vertex at -1, 2 and a focus at -1, 0. Now, one thing I didn't address on the previous problem is the axis equation. So let's take a look at that a little bit more in detail in this one. So again, our vertex is at -1, 2. I'm going to zoom in on this. And then our focus is at -1, 0. So you'll notice the x values are the same, which means it's going to be a vertical axis. And the equation for that is going to be x equals -1. It's just that the x value that they share in common. So let's start by drawing out some of this information here. So drawing an axis, we got x equals -1. We're going to go up to 2. So drawing a couple points here. Our focus is right here. Our vertex, that's not a very good one. Our vertex is up here, and we're going to have this mythical axis kind of cutting through those. Now again, labeling these, it's helpful to remember which one's which. So this is our vertex, and this is our focus. In other words, the parabola is going to be opening downward. So something kind of like that. Now, to figure out the directrix, before we do that, we got to figure out what our p-value is. In this case, our p-value is below, the focus is below the focus, or the vertex. So we go down 2, so our p-value is going to be -2. So for our directrix, we're still going to use the equation that is y equals k minus p. Now remember, the k and the p, or the k comes from the vertex, so the y value of the vertex. So it's going to be y equals 2 minus our p-value. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, no, 2 minus our p-value of -2, which means it's going to be y, translate this over, y equals +4. So we're going to have this horizontal line, this directrix, that's kind of our reference point at y equals 4. Last thing for this part, the equation we're going to use is in the format x minus h squared equals 4 times p times, I don't know why I put between parentheses, y minus k. Cleaning that up, we have x minus our h value is -1. We'll clean that up more in a second. That whole thing's being squared, equals 4, and our p-value in this case is -2, times y minus our k-value of 2. Plug in, or clean this up a little bit, we got x, plus 1, I'm getting a little cramped here, squared, equals 4 times -2 is -8 times y minus 2. And you can, if you want, distribute that -8 to the y and the -2, but you do not have to. All right, example number 3. We're asked to find the vertex. This one's changing it up a little bit. We're asked to find the vertex, the focus, and directrix of the parabola and sketch its graph. And the equation is y minus 3 squared equals -2 times x minus 5. So let's start with our vertex. So this is following the format of y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. So the vertex is going to come from the k value, that's going to be our y value, and the h value, which is our x value for our vertex. Sorry, I scrolled too far. Let me go back. So matching these up, the x value at the vertex is going to be 5, because it's x minus h and we have x minus 5. The y value is going to come from the k value, so y minus k, well we have a y minus 3, so it's going to be 3. Now the p value, that's what we need to we need to use to find both our focus and our directrix. Now the p value is going to kind of come from this area over here. Let me just highlight this. 4p is right there, and it's going to come and it's going to be connected with the -2. So let's just do 4p equals -2 to help us figure out our p value. To solve for p, we've got to divide both sides by 4, and we get p equals -2 divided by 4 is -1/2. So our p value is -1/2. Now our focus, this is our first time we're actually asked to find the focus. Since this is a horizontal axis, we know it's horizontal because of the format. So it's y minus k. So we got horizontal. And since we have a negative p-value, it's going to open to the left. So negative p-values, if it's horizontal, means to the left. If it's vertical, it means it's going to open down. Now to find the coordinates for our vertex, it's going to be h plus p, using our format from the previous page. And then our y value is just going to be the k. So we're going to plug in our h value, which was 5, plus, we got negative 1/2. And then our k value was just 3. So our focus is at the point 4.5, comma 3. Now before we go any further, let's start drawing this out to make sure that we have a decent graph. We have a vertex at 5, 3. So we're going to go 5 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 up, 1, 2, 3, and our vertex is going to be right there. Oop, that's not what I was trying to do. Let's switch colors. There's our vertex. Now our focus is going to be at 4.5, 3. So we're just going to go, let me zoom in just a little bit. It's going to be pretty darn close to that. So again, this is our vertex, and this is our focus. So again, we have another parabola opening to the left. Looking something kind of like that. The last thing we're asked to find is our directrix. So we got our vertex, we got our focus. The directrix is going to be the line x equals h minus p. So in the focus it was h plus p, in the directrix it's going to be h minus p. So we're going to have 5 minus negative 1/2. So in other words, 5 plus 1/2. So we got a directrix at x equals 5.5. Now, honestly, when I'm doing these, I just kind of visualize it. So if we know that the focus is half a tick mark over the directrix from the vertex, if the focus is half a tick mark over from the vertex, the directrix is going to be half a tick mark over in the other direction. So it's going to be like approximately there. Let me switch colors. Tick, 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 tick. So the focus and the vertex and the directrix are all kind of close to each other in this case. So there's our directrix. Let's take a look at one final equation or one final example here. We're asked to find the standard form of the following parabola with the given characteristics. We got a focus at 0, 0 and a directrix at y equals 8. Let me write those down again. So we got our directrix at y equals 8 and a focus at the point 0, 0. So let's just start by plotting these on a graph to help us kind of get a good frame of reference. So directrix up at y equals 8, so we got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so we're going to have a horizontal line there because it is a y equals line, so that's a horizontal line. And again, that's our directrix. And our focus is at the point 0, 0. Now, based on what we know, the vertex is always halfway between the focus and directrix. So if we have a point at 0, 0 here, again, that's our focus. And then the directrix is 8 tick marks up. Our vertex is going to be halfway, 4 tick marks up. So again, our vertex is going to be halfway up at the coordinate 4, 0. Now again, this is another situation. The vertex opens in the direction of the focus. So this is going to be a downward facing parabola. Our p-value here, just identifying the distance between the vertex and the focus. The focus is below it, so it's going to be a negative, and it's 4. Finding the equation, we got x minus h, because we're working with a vertical parabola, squared equals 4 times p times y minus k. Now again, the h and the k come from our vertex, so the h value is the x value of the vertex, the k value is the y value. So we got x minus 0 squared equals 4 times our p-value, we found was negative 4. And then y minus k, so we got y minus our k value of, oh my goodness, does anybody see what I did wrong here? I labeled the vertex wrong. Wow, I don't feel like making this whole video over. So, our vertex, the x-coordinate is 0. My apologies, the y-coordinate is 4. I made a mistake there. I was making the equation based off of correct information, but I was not using the right number. So my apologies. So the x value of the vertex is 0. The y value is 4. So we have y minus now the correct value of 4. Cleaning this up a little bit, the right side, x minus 0 squared is just x squared. On the right side, 4 times negative 4 is negative 16, and it's going to be times y minus 4. So my apologies for getting a little too sloppy when writing the vertex coordinates.